Well, I love being out on the playground in a beautiful, beautiful day in springtime. But I do realize this is springtime, and in many of the places that you live, springtime produces storms. Depending on where you live, it could be earthquakes, it could be tornadoes, it could be hurricanes, or it could be just a simple old lightning storm or hailstorm that you can have, which are very common in the great state of Texas where we are. But a lot of parents ask me, they really struggle with handling storms. And many of my sensory clients or clients with sensory issues really are very fearful of storms. And we have them often, storms aren't selective, so sometimes storms are going on even here in the clinic in treatment. And a lot of the way that we address that, I'm going to give you just a few tips on how we address storms. We are very sensitive to their level of fear. Storms are loud, they're unpredictable, the sky lights up. Things happen in storms that don't normally happen and are assumed to be not safe. So we're very, very careful of a couple of things. Our reaction. So when thunder crackles or the sky lights up, we're not going to pay attention to it. We're going to move right away from that and not draw attention to it, because many times our clients feed off of our attention. And even our nonverbal clients, they can feel our intensity. They completely understand. They can read our stress level and respond to that stress level. So we bring that way, way down. I also will not take my kid into a treatment space where there's a lot of windows. I might go to a room like our testing room that has no windows, because they're not going to react to the light, or an interior room, they're not going to hear the sound. So I often suggest that that's a strategy you can look at, because you might be at home during a storm, you might be at the mall. I can't say what environment you'll be in, so I'm going to just give you some basic ideas to look at. The other thing I would not suggest is have your radio running or your TV running with the weather report, because the kids are going to react to that. I think your safest thing is maybe on your phone, but you're going to want to be real subtle. So again, we're not paying attention to it. We're not talking. Clinicians aren't going, "Did you see that? I think hail's coming. It's now red. Look at the radar." They can go back and do that in their office or in their private space, but we're not going to do that during treatment. We have also been in situations where our lights have gone out. And I know that happens at home. Usually it's very temporary. If the lights were out for an extended period, we would notify you and probably exit the facility or have you guys go home. But they will flash and flicker and go out and come back on. And so we usually try to make a game out of it. So if you can make it fun in a game and say, "Oh my gosh, it's dark. Let me see if I can find you." If they're going to really respond to your reaction. So if I can, I make it a game, or I make it an imaginary event, or something that is not threatening. So those are just a few tips. I can't change the weather. None of us can, but they're coping strategies you can use with your kids. Now, if your kids do get into the point of panic, go back and use your zones of regulation that your therapists talk about, things that are calming. What can we do to calm down? So if they are going from green zone to yellow zone to red zone, we want to try to bring them back. And that could be drinking some water, blowing some bubbles, taking breaths. Those are just a few of the strategies. So we really want to kind of hone it back in if they tend to go in fight or flight. But talk to your therapist. They can give you individual suggestions for your kiddo, because they know your kids. And they probably have zones of regulation strategies they're using with them.